All right, what's up, Bulldogs? I got a question here about what is the best age to marry, okay? And as a man, right? Basically, when to get into long-term relationships. This is from someone in the Bulldog Mindset membership, in the Platinum membership, actually. And they asked this question in the community here, and he said, "Hey everyone, I've been thinking about the best age to marry, when to look for casual stuff, and when to go for serious relationships, etc." He says, "John, your advice is very sound in terms of personal growth, overall success, and our sexual market value, which peaks in our mid 30s or early 40s, but it doesn't take into account two things: energy level drop off after 35 or 40 years of age, and peak fertility age for men, which I'm still confused about myself. Google says it's late 20s, but anywhere between 20 to 40 could be ideal depending on an individual and his habits, but Google's often wrong. Won't won't waiting till our mid 30s mean having less energy to start a whole new direction in life and losing out on our peak fertility years to have healthy kids? Should the ideal age to marry be somewhere between peak fertility and peak SMV, 31 to 34? Does this mean men have to make sacrifice regardless of what factor we choose or what kind of compromise between them, unlike women where everything aligns properly at one specific age range? They can have their exploratory casual phase for a handful of adult years and look for life partner before 28 or 30. I'm not complaining, just wondering, why would nature do this to us? Have we gotten this completely wrong? Okay, so let's talk about this for a minute here. So here's the deal. Okay, so I've got some opinions. Definitely, you may have heard me talk about what is the ideal age for a man to get into a long term relationship and get married. And before I even get into that, right? I mean, well, let's talk about what I've said. Okay, so I've said that it is that you shouldn't even really be looking for long-term relationships until you're 30. Okay, and really probably not really settling down, getting married to 35, maybe 40. I mean, you can even go later than that, right? And the reason for this is for a couple of reasons. Okay, so one of the main reasons here is because as a man, your value, right, your sexual marketplace value, which is your options that you have, is going to potentially peak in those years. Like, from, it's going to take you that long, let's say up to get to 30 years old, 35, maybe 40, before you have really the physique that is in your prime. Okay, maybe you could do that part earlier, but definitely the money part. Okay, it's going to take some time to get that, yeah, established. All right, and then the mindset, the masculinity, right, and the experience. Okay, so it's going to take time for you to develop yourself, to build those things as a man, right? And it's very hard to do this. It's hard to build up your character. It's not something that you're going to be able to do in your 20s very easily. Yes, you're going to work on that stuff, and that's kind of part of the reason is you need to spend a lot of your time. You need to be spending your focus not on a woman, right, but on building yourself, going to the gym, lifting weights, running, eating right, reading a lot of books, focusing on your career, on your business, doing some relationship stuff like dating in order to gain experience with women, so you can be good with women. So you're developing your social skills, your ability there, and your masculinity. All right, going out and conquering your fears. Doing all this stuff that's going to build you as a man. That's going to make it so that when you are 30, 35, 40 years old, not only do you have the widest availability of options, right, among women, but you can make a smart choice. And when you do make a choice, when you do get into a relationship with a woman, that she will respect you and look up to you, and you'll have understood most of these lessons that I'm teaching you guys about masculinity and about relationships in men, so that you don't make the mistakes that are going to set the relationship in the wrong direction, where a woman's not going to respect you, where she's going to mistreat you, where there's going to be potential problems and potentially a breakup, divorce down the road, right? So I'm kind of trying to help save you from these things and give you the time to build yourself up. Because once you get into a long-term relationship with a woman, you really should be spending a lot of time and spending a lot of devotion to her. Not all your life, but especially even if you're going to start a family, right? You want to be in a position to be able to do that. Also, you need to be in a position to financially support a woman and a family. That is a must for me. Otherwise, you're not going to have the authority. You're not going to be the man. You're not going to be the leader in the house. You cannot have a woman that's working and then try to claim full leadership and full authority. Well, there are some compromises there. It's going to be a compromise. Okay. So now let's address some of the other issues that he said here. Okay. What about your energy levels? maybe going down in your 35, 35, 40 years old. I think that's to a degree true. I don't think it's necessarily true. I don't know if that's really scientifically backed. I mean, maybe there's some science to that, but there are ways to get around that. There are some things, TRT. There are other things that you can do to sort of revitalize those energy levels. But even with that said, I'll say two things about that. So first of all, you you may not even need that stuff. Like it may be that, hey, when I was in my 30s, my late 30s, 35 to 40, I was running ultra marathons. I was running more than I've ever have, working out harder, doing more crazy stuff than I ever did before in my 20s. Now, I don't know, maybe in my 20s, had I been on the Bulldog mindset, would I had more energy and been able to do that? But anyway, my point is that I have plenty of energy. And the second thing I would say about this is that that's the whole point, is like you want to use your energy when you're young to be able to build yourself up, because it is harder. I will say now, trying to do the kind of stuff that I did to get to where I am, trying to do it now, it seems exhausting, right? Whereas before it seemed great. It was the way to go, right? And also when you're single, you don't mind staying up all night and working hard and doing all this stuff, okay? The second thing about the fertility side of this, I'm not really sure about this. I haven't heard much about this, but there are plenty of men in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, even 70s that have children. Now, yes, maybe sperm count or motility might go down over time. There's some things that you can do to improve that. If you're really concerned about this, you could always, save off sperm and, like have your own sperm saved, frozen, that type of thing. That's, you could do that. But I wouldn't be too concerned about that. I don't think that's that much of an issue. And if you think, maybe starting a family at a later age might be an issue, but, yeah, the thing about that is that you're going to be more mature and more able to handle that, right? Nothing will test your patience like kids. So I think being more grown up, being more of a man and having more experience in life and having more wisdom is going to help you. It'd be better to be older as a father, right? And the thing is, you're going to be looking for a younger woman. A 10-year age gap. Ideal would be you're maybe 35 and you find a woman that's 25, 26, 27, somewhere around there, or maybe 40 to 27, something like that. Around a 10 to 15 year, I'd say kind of max age gap is what you're looking for. And the reason for that also is because a woman needs to look up to you. And a woman is much more likely to look up to you if you've got some age, some experience on her, and that's going to make the relationship go a lot better. It's also going to help you too in terms of kind of just your biological urges and cravings, right? As a man, if you get married or you get into a long-term relationship in your 20s, as you both grow and get older, as she gets older, you may find younger women more attractive, and now you're at 35, 40, you're at your peak. Your significant other is not, and that can create some problems and temptations. I'm not saying that you can't necessarily get around that, but I'm saying it would be better if you had your experience, had your fun when you're younger as a man and gained some experience with women. And then when you settle down and you're like, let's say 35, 40 years old, and you've got a younger woman, even if she ages, by that time you're going to be 50, 60, and it'll still feel right to you. So anyway, these are just some ideas to think about here. But yeah, I mean, that's what I recommend. I recommend wait till you're, there's no rush to this, guys. So many guys get so upset and they get so despondent, like, oh, I'm never going to find someone, or women don't like me. Give it some time, man. Like, give it some time. You will grow and you will become much mature as a man and have a lot more options if you play your cards right, which means getting on the Bulldog mindset, doing the right things that you need to do. By the way, if you haven't taken the Bulldog quiz to see what your Bulldog score is, because that's a good way of knowing where are you at on this continuum, go ahead and click the link down below and check that out. And if you haven't joined the membership, obviously you can do that and start transforming your life. See you next time.